Welcome to the Christian Liberation Organization. Thank you for joining us for AS3 Week 2 to Ascension Day. AS3 Week 2, 40 Days to Ascension, Days 8 through 14. Day 8 of 40, on April 25th. The biblical symbolism of 3 continued. The 3 righteous patriarchs before the flood were Abel, Enoch, and Noah. After the deluge, there was the righteous fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, later renamed Israel. There are 27 books in the New Testament, which is 3 times 3 times 3, or completeness to the third power. Jesus prayed 3 times in the Garden of Gethsemane before his arrest. He was placed on the cross at the 3rd hour of the day, 9 a.m., and died at the 9th hour, 3 p.m. There were 3 hours of darkness that covered the land while Jesus was suffering on the cross, from the 6th hour to the 9th hour. 3 is the number of resurrection. Christ was dead for 3 days and 3 nights. This day, meditate on how God is of such wondrous order. All things that God has set in motion will come to be in his timing. We can live in the ultimate victory that is God's and ours by the free gift of his Son. Always reminding ourselves that all these promises of future victory are actually ours in the now. All of God's promises in the context of forever is not futuristic. Forever means past, present, and future. It is actually timeless. Forever is really forever now. Day 9 of 40, on April 26th. The third appearance of Christ after his resurrection was in the afternoon and evening of the same day he was raised from the grave. 2 disciples, on their way to Emmaus, are pondering what they have heard about rumors of his resurrection. Jesus comes up behind them, but they are prevented from recognizing him, even though Jesus speaks openly the word for them. This is in Luke 24:13 to 30. This day, meditate on and give thanks for how God is always with us, even though we don't recognize him at times. Remind ourselves that this is an unchangeable truth, whether we are realizing it or not in any moment. There is never any time God is not with us and just waiting for us to be still and know he is there. Day 10 of 40, on April 27th. Continue on in Luke 24:13 and 30. Jesus was talking and breaking openly the word for the 2 disciples on their way to Emmaus. He then sits at a table with them and celebrates the Eucharist, whereupon their eyes are opened and they recognize him in the breaking of the bread. This day, meditate on the expectations of all Jesus will share with us once we recognize him in each moment. Celebrate how Jesus sits with us right where we are. Praise his name, for he opens our eyes to see the full richness of life with him. Day 11 of 40, April 28th. Appearance 4. The 2 disciples returned that evening to Jerusalem and went to the 11. At first, the 11 disbelieved them just as they had the women. Mark 16:13. Nevertheless, they continued to relate what they had experienced. Meditate this day on the patience of Christ. He waits for us, not with any anger, disgust, or even disappointment. His love never fails. Day 12 of 40, April 29th. Appearance 4 continued. At some point, Peter drew apart from the others, perhaps for a walk, and the Lord appeared to Peter in Luke 24:34 and 1 Corinthians 15:5, who informed the other 10 who then believed. Thus the disciples from Emmaus, still lingering with the apostles, were now told, perhaps by way of apology, that it was indeed true that Jesus had risen. Luke 24:34. This day, meditate on the countless ways Jesus waits on us. In this time, he has the Spirit causing us to learn. In this case, he waited and came to Peter when he was alone, who then returned to the others and gave them what they needed to believe. If we have a heart that wants to believe, Christ will use the Spirit in this age to give us what we need to do so. Day 13 of 40, April 30th. Appearance 4, the significance of the number 4. The number 4 derives its meaning from creation. On the fourth day of what is called Creation Week, God completed the material universe. On this day, he brought into existence our sun, the moon, and all the stars. Genesis 1:14-19. The purpose was not only to give off light, but also to divide the day from the night on earth, thus becoming a basic demarcation of time. They were also made to be a type of signal that would mark off the days, years, and seasons. Interestingly, the Hebrew word for seasons in Genesis 1:14 is moed. Strong's Concordance, number H4150, which literally translated is appointed times, divine appointments, in reference to God's festivals. This is the earliest known allusion to what would later be called the holy or feast days, periods of worship. On this day, meditate on God, the author of all creation, of how he spoke into existence all things, how he made us in his image. Thus our words are creating our life all the time. Consider any time our words are positively or negatively affecting our life. Pray that the Spirit guides us in our word usage. Day 14 of 40. May 1st of 22. Appearance 4. The significance of the number of 4 continued. The fourth of the 10 Commandments is to remember and keep God's holy Sabbath day. Exodus 20:9-11. The Sabbath day is tied directly to the creation week. God himself made this special when he rested on it after bringing everything into existence the previous 6 days. Genesis 2:1-3 and Exodus 20:11. This day, meditate on how God commanded it is good to rest. Remind ourselves that all our work and efforts must be kept in balance with rest. It is good that we rest, while taking the time of rest to worship our Lord in gathering in his name, giving of ourselves to him, and lifting praises to him in prayer and song.